on more coverage recognition and knowing where the defense is going to be and truly knowing their responsibilities and also knowing my teammates' responsibilities better.
We'll go on the right side, front row.
Chesson Boucher with NBC 33 in Baton Rouge. Last year, LSU came into the swamp. Sure. You basically helped lead them with one good leg. What do you remember about that game, and what's your biggest takeaway from that? Yeah, for sure. I remember before that whole week, it was a lot of ups and downs mentally. Just figuring out what's the plan going to be, if I'm going to even be able to be out there. But, once we hit Thursday, okay, all right, it's time to lock in. We got to go get this W. It doesn't really matter, Playing against a great LSU team, they were really good last year, and I'm excited to go to Death Valley this year, and it's going to be fun. So, yeah.
Left side, fourth row.
Dan Peck, ESPN 106.7 in Auburn. DJ, what were the most challenging things about getting on the getting on the field in the SEC as early in your career as you did? And what were some things that maybe didn't shock you all that much about playing in the league?
I would say the most challenging thing was really just, time management. Going from being in high school and then going to SEC big-time college football, it's a big difference, especially where I'm from in a little town, Willis, Texas. It's definitely a big difference. But, once I kind of got adjusted to that and adjusted to knowing the offense and, knowing where my people were at, and now that's why I'm excited for this year, because I know where my people at. Now I can know where the defense is at and get better at that. So, yeah.
In the middle on the aisle, please.
Tyler Shaw with KBTX in College Station. DJ, what do you remember about that Texas A&M game? And it was very early in your career last year. Then how much are you looking forward to this year, kind of coming back home and playing at Kyle Field? Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely excited to go back to play at Kyle Field. I've been to I've been in a lot of games in Kyle Field, and for me to be able to play in one, it's going to be surreal. Having all my family, my teammates, my classmates, my coaches, teachers, all of them be at the game, it's going to be fun.
Second row and then pass it forward, please.
Alex Byington on 3. DJ, as a freshman, most players don't come in thinking they have to kind of put the world on their shoulders. But when you were kind of thrust in there, that's exactly what had to happen.
For
but
sure.
How often, I'm sure you heard some of the speculation about Coach Napier and his job status and hot seat talk. How much did that actually impact you? And was that a part of your day-to-day thinking when you were out there playing?
Yeah, when I'm out there playing, I'm just thinking about playing ball. I'm worried about, trying to figure out my freshman year, trying to figure out where my guys were going, but I was just, every time I stepped on the field, that's when life just kind of stopped for me. And it's just just playing ball and just being just in the moment. My biggest thing last year, I always wanted to get into something called flow state, and flow state is where you're just moving. It's just natural. Everything happens naturally. And that's kind of where I wanted to be at every year, every game.
Back to the front row again. Jack
Pyburn transferred into LSU.
Yeah.
What kind of player is LSU getting out of him?
Oh, man, Jack Pyburn is a guy, It's going to be bittersweet playing against him, and LSU is definitely getting a heck of a player and a heck of a leader.
Left side again.
We were talking with Caleb earlier, and he mentioned, just how thrilling it is to get to play in front of the fans in the swamp.
Yes, sir.
Lots made of the different home field advantages around the conference. What's it like being able to perform in front of those fans?
Oh, man, words can't even explain it, how it is to play in the swamp, man. The fans bring it each and every Saturday. And, I'm just thankful to be a part of it, and be able to be in the swamp, and they're rooting for us and chewing us and giving us that true advantage.
Go on the right side and then pass it behind you.
Harrison Reno, UJ Sports. When we talked to Caleb, I asked him about what his thoughts were coming out of that Georgia game last year. Obviously, you went down with an injury in that game. But beforehand, y'all had a lead on them. How much confidence does that give you going into this year's matchup? One, and then two, I guess, what was that like having to sit there on the sideline and kind of watch how that game ended up unfolding? Yeah, for sure. It gives me a lot of confidence that, it doesn't matter who really is out there. It's all about us. It's all about how we prepare and how we go out there and treat the week, And watching that game after I got hurt, it was the hardest thing. I hated that. I just wanted to be out there with my guys. That's all I want to do is just play football. So, seeing that, it was hard, but definitely giving me the confidence for next year to go out there and play them.
Middle back row, please.
Donna Conrad, 15 ABC and Bryan College Station. DJ, you got a chance to play against the Aggies last year at home. What stands out to you about A&M's defense?
Yeah, what stands out to me about A&M's defense is just their interior pressure. You know, they had a lot of good defensive linemen, you know, and they had a lot of good corners too. They had a really good safety. Really all around defense was really good. And they got a good linebacker, Torian York. You know, I played against him in high school. He got the better of me. Yes, but I'm excited to, you know, get out there and play against him again this year. But yeah, it's a great all around defense.
On the right, in the back, and then pass it to your left.
Hey, DJ, Kyle Wood, Athlon Sports. Having guys like Jake and Caleb come back, having that continuity with upperclassmen, does that raise internal expectations for you all, knowing the team that you have ready for this year?
I'd say not expectations. You know, we're not really worried about that. We're just worried about one day at a time and just loving on each other, getting better. You know, and that's really what it's about, you know, and the brotherhood that we've built and the camaraderie that we have is just amazing, and I'm excited just to showcase it to the world.
Middle, fifth row.
How will Jaden Ball play a role in y'all's offense this season?
Oh, man, Jaden Ball is a huge part of our offense. You know, I'm excited for him. He's been working his tail off this offseason, and, you know, he's gonna definitely help us a lot this year.
Left side, and then pass it over.
DJ, aside from something like leadership, what do you think your best attribute is as a quarterback, and do you have anybody that you model yourself after at all?
I'll say my best leader as a quarterback my best attribute as a quarterback is really just, I'd say just as people would say, I guess, aura, confidence, and just the way I portray myself on game day. Like, my teammates always joke around about, like they say that I'm a totally different person on game day, you know, and that kind of oozes out of me, and it's just great to be able to be that for my guys, you know.
On the aisle, please.
Yeah, DJ, when you look around the conference at some of the other quarterbacks that are playing right now, how would you just evaluate the level of play at the quarterback position in the SEC right now?
Man, there's a lot of good quarterbacks in the SEC right now, and I'm you know, it's just great to see, you know, to be able to compete against some of them and to watch them, you know, further their careers and stuff like that down the road. I'm excited for them. I'm always praying for them.
Right side, third row.
Trevor Denton, Way 31. How do you manage the pressure of being the starting quarterback at the University of Florida, especially after the way you played last season, entering this one as the starter?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I always say pressure is a privilege, you know, and once you have pressure, that means people are counting on you to do big things. So I'm always excited when people say pressure, you know, and that's why I just love, like, game day atmosphere, because it feels like all eyes are on you and you got to put on a show, you know, so that's what I'm excited for, yeah.
Two to finish on the second row and then on the fifth row.
Kind of along those lines, how do you internalize that pressure? And, I mean, not to harp on it, but there was a lot of pressure on you specifically last season to kind of save your coach's job at one point. So how do you handle that?
Yeah, you know, the way I handle pressure and, you know, all that stuff, I kind of prepare during the week like crazy. And preparation leads to confidence. So once I get to Saturday, I already know that I didn't put the work in. I did all I needed to do. And kudos to the coaching staff. You know, they prepare us like crazy. Like Coach O'Hara and Coach Napier, they put together a plan for the quarterbacks and just all the team in general. So, like, when we get out there, we already know what's going to happen dang near. So it's great.
Final question on the right, back row.
Micah Farmer, Eagle Eye TV. DJ, you've been very outward about your faith your entire time in your recruiting and your time at Florida. How do you think that helps you as a leader, especially through ups and downs of a typical football season?
Yeah, I definitely say faith is a huge part of my life, you know, and having God as the foundation has been wonderful because, it's, like you said, it's a lot of ups and a lot of downs on the football field, even in life. But having that foundation to keep me strong is beneficial.
DJ, thank you very much.
Thank y'all. Go Gators.